Well, here I am behind the scenes at the Blackmagic stand here at NAB 2017. We have to come back here to do the interviews because there's just too much going on at the front. There's so many people looking at all the new products that have been released here. I've got Simon with me. Hi, Simon.
Hi, John. Good to see you.
And you? Yeah, very good. Now we're going to talk about one of the main new releases here, which is Resolve 14.
Yeah.
And the associated hardware. What have we got here?
So Davinci Resolve 14 is a huge leap forward. It's not so much an incremental update, but pretty much a change to the whole post workflow, and I'll tell you why that is. Obviously, people are now familiar with Resolve for its color grading and its editing capabilities that we've been showing over the last sort of 12 months and more. But what we've done now is incorporate Fairlight audio post-production directly within Resolve 14. So I can show you what that means, and I guess the real magic of that, John, is that we can be in our edit page, so we can be putting our sequence together. We're one click through to color, so I can now start to grade that shot, and I'm not a colorist, John, so forgive me how that looks. But I can instantly then go into Fairlight, and I've got all my audio post-production tools right in front of me. And the major thing there, and it's kind of, I guess it's easy when you just click through. You've got to let that sink in for a minute. That's one click between edit, grade, audio, post-production. Traditionally, you'd finish and lock down your edit. You'd take that and then you'd move it into audio. And if there was the slightest change that you needed to make, which changed the sync of that project with an audio track that ran underneath or sound effects or anything else, it's got to come back and forth. So you're moving the project constantly. That breaks workflows. And I think by having it built in, there's so much power within there. Even on a machine like this, on the iMac we're showing it on, you'd expect to get about 60 tracks of real-time audio within Fairlight. We've also got parametric EQ on there, so we can double click on this and our curve comes up. We can start to change the EQ settings. There's a 6-band parametric EQ. We've got dynamics on here, so we've got expander, compressor, limiter, all of the traditional functions that a sound engineer would be familiar with, all directly built in to Davinci Resolve.
Amazing. It's worth mentioning this as well, I think, as it's here. Tell us a bit about this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, you saw me go to it before, and this is the Davinci Resolve micro panel. This is the small one. We've got a micro and a mini. This micro is $995 US. And the beauty of it is when you're grading, I often sort of use the analogy of color correction being like a concert pianist or maybe something like a Formula One driver. You don't look at your fingers, you don't look at your feet when you're doing those things. And it's the same when you're grading a project. The colorist really wants to work by looking at the image, so I can go and expand this out on the screen there. And actually what I'm going to want to do is not look at the controls that I'm touching, but instinctively be able to change the color within the the highlights, the shadows, the midtones, all just through the touch of the trackballs that are on the panel in front. So it really gives direct control of the color grading features within Resolve for primary and secondary color correction on a panel that costs under $1,000.
Now, obviously, we've mentioned about the Fairlight integration. Is this worth looking what's up behind us here?
So, yeah, I mean, what you see is obviously we've shown the Fairlight there, and I'll come this side so we can see it a bit better. We showed that standalone within the application running on the iMac, but of course when people think about audio mixing and sound engineering, they traditionally associate that with an audio console, and we're seeing it right here. So this is the Fairlight console. So this is not a new product right now, but the Fairlight console as was. But what we're immediately showing here, and remember, we've only had Fairlight as a part of Blackmagic for 6 months. So the guys have been working unbelievably fast, but what we're already showing is actually this end screen here is Davinci Resolve running within the Fairlight audio console. So it's Resolve actually that's now at the heart of that, and in the same way as we had all of our tracks and our channels, the individual channels within the software, this just gives us hardware control of that. So traditionally in a final mix, you wouldn't want to be doing it in software. You want to do it real time and you want to have control over the different channels. So, typically in an audio post facility, this is what you'd expect to see, all driven by Davinci Resolve.
Simon, absolutely amazing. Now, if people want to find out more information about the Davinci Resolve 14 line of products and software, what's the website?
Blackmagicdesign.com.
Thank you very much, Simon. You want to find out more? Well, go and have a look at the website. The link is on the screen now. Don't forget to check out the other video that we've done here at the amazing Blackmagic stand. If you want even more, guess what? Go to KITPLUS.com. There's loads of videos from NAB 2017.